My sister, 22 female, walked in on me, 25 female, and our family friend, 26 male. Up. Now both of our families are congratulating us on our relationship. We're not dating. Two of my parents are good friends with another couple, and our family have spent the most of their lives growing up together. As a result, I've known Daniel, 26 years old, for my whole life. A running joke between our families has always been that one day, me and him would get married, and we'd all be a true family. The first time we met was when I was 16 and my parents tried to push us to go on a date. It was a disaster, and the two of us joked that we would never be able to date one another even if we were the last people on the earth. During the same time period, my relationship with my then boyfriend came to an end, and Daniel was also single. We ended up being friends with benefits, with the understanding that no one in our respective families would find out what we were up to. For over a year, we've been doing this successfully, and everything has been going well up until now. Last night, my sister caught us in the act when we were at my place in the city. She had the biggest grin on her face, and when we tried to explain to her that this was not what she was thinking, she just nodded and murmured, "Oh yeah," without saying anything further. It took less than 20 minutes after she departed before my mother texted me to congratulate me, saying she couldn't believe Daniel and I had finally started dating and asking how long Daniel had been my boyfriend. One of the difficulties is that we are not currently dating and have no intention of doing so in the near future. Since then, the rest of our families have been cracking jokes in our shared group chat, and my father has even been in touch with Daniel to discuss his intentions, according to Daniel. The only thing he could do was go along with it. This whole scenario is really embarrassing, but it would be even worse if we just said that we are friends. Please provide me with a believable explanation for what my sister saw. And now that I've written this essay, how are we going to persuade both of our families that we will never date and that they should give up on their romantic fantasies? Story 2. I've spoke on the phone with my ex for the first time since I busted her 4 months ago. Both of us found it challenging, but I feel it was also beneficial for both of us. She expresses remorse, but she also recognizes that I am unable to come to terms with the situation. At first, she burst out laughing, crying while chatting. I had a long conversation with her. It didn't turn out to be particularly productive. I ended up corresponding with her for a long period of time this morning, back and forth. She plainly despises herself for what she's done, and now that I'm gone, she realizes how much she's squandered her opportunity. It's an old story with a new twist. She did not grow up in the same environment that I did. I was up in a huge household with several siblings. We were all rather close to one another. True love came into my life at a young age for me. Many older couples I encountered had made it through limerence and beyond were still together. I was constantly showered with hugs and kisses, and I was informed how much I was cherished. She lacked a certain quality in this regard. His and her parents never told her that they loved her, and they never hugged or kissed her either. Anyway, I told her everything I wanted to say to her, but this time I didn't say it out of spite or contempt for her at all. I wished her the best of success in her endeavors. In general, I feel it was a success in all respects. I refused to give up and made an effort to make apologies. As opposed to merely wondering what was going on and conjuring up my own hypothetical scenarios in my head, I was able to look into her heart and understand her feelings. I feel that we both acquired a great deal from this experience. I have no doubt that she will never be caught cheating on her spouse in the future. She had to learn a harsh but necessary lesson the hard way. I don't think she's a psychopath, and I don't think she's a cake eater. She just didn't comprehend what it meant to be in real love. She didn't realize that love, after a time, transforms into something quite else. Something that does not have the gimmicks of being a new thing. I'm very sorry for what's happened to her. She feels disgusted with herself. I told her that I had been investigating cheaters and that I understood her mental agony. I also expressed sympathy for her situation. I'm still furious, and I don't like cheaters, but after reading so many posts from individuals wishing for their AP who ghosted them, I realize that they're going through the same thing, even if they were the ones who caused it. As a result, the moral of the story is to never cheat on your spouse. The news is really disappointing. It's detrimental to everyone, even some of the cheaters. Please bear with me while I continue my search for happiness. Thank you for your understanding. It has always been, and will continue to be, my primary goal. Story 3. How getting an opportunity to cheat helped me get over being cheated on. I'm a guy. I've been cheated on by a lady who eventually admitted that she is the issue, that she can't help but sleep around despite her best efforts to be loyal. The romance was going swimmingly. We both seemed to be content. When she began having the affair, she provided no red signs, no indications, and wore an absolutely flawless mask. It was a tiny wonder that I found out about it at all. It's the type of cheating that makes you wonder about human nature and if you should ever trust anybody again. As a guy who had never had the chance to cheat, since women did not approach me in general, and I did not approach women while I was in a relationship, it made me wonder whether I would even rise to the occasion and deny an opportunity to cheat. After that experience, I ended up in a relationship with another lady, and we used to do this thing where while we were apart, like when one of us was out of town for work visiting or whatever, none of us would, which was meant to make the hotter when we reunited again. I'd become really if I didn't as regularly as I do. I was going to meet up with some pals one day while she was out of town, 2 guys and a girl. I had a crush on her shortly before I got connected with my girlfriend at the time, and needless to say, I thought she was very gorgeous. We were scheduled to watch a movie at the girl's house that evening, but the other 2 men didn't show up. So it was just me and the girl for the evening. We drank, spoke, and watched the movie together. This lady was generally a very touchy-feely type, often embracing and placing her head on her friend's shoulders, for example, but something was on this time, and it soon became clear that she was making a pass at me. By the end of the movie, it was really dark, I was a little tipsy, and I was hesitant to bike back home, so I asked her if I could sleep on her sofa. Instead, she welcomed me to her bedroom. Remember, I was intoxicated, considered her attractive, and had a crush on her earlier. Isn't it a guaranteed formula for cheating? Wrong. If I were to describe the sensation, it would be one of visceral fear and revulsion at the prospect of carrying out the murder and doing such a horrific thing to my then-girlfriend. Maybe it was because I'd been cheated on, or maybe it was because I'm a pathologically honest person, meaning that even if something had happened, it would have been the first thing my GF would hear about from me, because I couldn't stand the emotional distance that comes with keeping a secret like that. If I had to guess, even if I had done anything, I don't believe I could have gotten an erection since, even in that drunken condition, my mind was racing with the possible ramifications of what I was about to do. So I informed her I was leaving. She was adamant. I told her that she was beautiful, but I could never do anything like this. When I got home, it felt better than real. That was a pivotal event in my life. As I previously said, being cheated on had pushed me, like many others, into a mindset of distrust towards the other in monogamous partnerships in general. I split up with my girlfriend at the time for other reasons around a year later, but the sensation of that encounter lingered with me. It was quite comforting, as though I had proven to myself that the beauty of commitment and deep emotional connection, as well as caring about how you make the other person feel, is viscerally superior than flings and rapid fulfillment. And if I was capable of experiencing that, then there must be other people out there who feel the same way, and it's just a question of finding them. I grew increasingly convinced that cheating is not inherent in human nature, and that the anguish caused by cheating is avoidable. Now, I'm not arguing that everyone should look for opportunities to cheat and turn them down. Instead, I hope you read this and recognize in yourself the potential to do the same, that you are comforted that cheating is a deliberate option, and that there are other individuals out there who, like you, would never inflict such a horrible thing on others.